Mojtaba's first statement sparks unease in Israel as the 42nd wave of attacks gets underway. Minutes after Mojtaba's message, the Revolutionary Guard carries out a major coordinated assault. Fires continue across Israeli cities for a third day, as Mojtaba's counteroffensive gains force. Iran employs Ahmad, Kharja, Khaibar, and Fatah-class missiles in precision strikes deep inside Israel. Mojtaba Khamenei promises tighter control over the Strait of Hormuz in response to attacks on Iran. Supreme Leader Mojtaba assures Iranians their losses will be honored and their response will be remembered. Iran's Operation True Promise 4 has now entered a decisive new stage, marked by an extensive, coordinated barrage targeting US and Israeli sites across different regions. Within hours of Mojtaba Khamenei's first address as Supreme Leader, Iran unleashed a new wave of missile and drone strikes. The timing of the attacks suggests a deliberate signal of continuity and resolve under the country's new leadership. Following Mojtaba Khamenei's message, Iran's army leadership pledged to continue the nation's resistance until the last breath. The statement underscored the military's alignment with his authority and its readiness to sustain long-term operations if required. Tehran's officials described the 42nd attack wave as part of a broader, calculated strategy of retaliation against both the United States and Israel. They emphasized that these actions represent not isolated incidents, but steps in a continuing campaign of military and political defiance. The IRGC stated that this round of attacks was launched in honor of the martyrs of the holy month of Ramadan and in remembrance of the late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The Guard confirmed that heavy ballistic missiles and explosive-laden drones were directed at central Tel Aviv. According to the IRGC, these strikes were meant to demonstrate Iran's capability to reach key urban centers despite heavy air defenses. In its statement, Tehran confirmed the deployment of advanced Ahmad, Kharja, Khaibar and Fatah missiles during the latest wave. Officials said the use of these weapons reflects Iran's evolving military technology. The Revolutionary Guard claimed responsibility for additional missile and drone attacks targeting what it described as facilities operated by the terrorist American army. The statement suggested that the strikes were aimed at deterring future assaults and asserting Iran's strategic reach. Iran's top military command reaffirmed its intention to maintain a robust and continued response to any US or Israeli actions. Officials said the armed forces would remain on high alert and continue to respond decisively as long as external aggression persists. Iranian army in a statement said, and I quote, "The first enlightening and insightful message from the Supreme Leader and beloved guide has been heard with all our hearts. It is a decisive order to confront the enemies and avenge the blood of the martyred leader, Imam, and the precious martyrs of the current war. With a resolve firmer than before and motivation stronger than ever, we will continue our relentless fight against the invading and criminal enemies." Iran assures that, with the IRGC, it will stand until the last breath to defend the independence and territorial integrity of the Islamic Republic. By avenging the pure blood of the martyred leader, the valiant commanders and our dear compatriots, it will make the enemies of Iran regret their actions. On March 12, Iran's newly appointed Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, delivered his first national address, marking a significant moment in the country's political transition. His speech set the tone for Iran's posture at home and abroad under his new leadership. In his address, Mojtaba Khamenei paid tribute to his late father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, while speaking directly to the Iranian people about unity, resilience, and ongoing conflict with the US and Israel. He framed his message as one of continuity, national strength, and resistance in the face of pressure. Iran's new supreme leader, in his address said, and I quote, "At the beginning of my words, I must offer my condolences to my master. May God hasten his noble reappearance, on the heart-rending martyrdom of the great leader of the revolution, our dear, wise Khamenei. This servant of yours, Sayyid Mojtaba Hosseini Khamenei, learned of the result of the Assembly's vote at the same time as you did, through the broadcast of the Islamic Republic of Iran. For me, to sit upon a place where two towering leaders, the great Imam Khomeini and the martyred Khamenei, once sat is an exceedingly difficult task. I had the blessing of visiting his body after his martyrdom. What I saw was a mountain of steadfastness, and I was told that his sound hand was still clenched in a fist. This is what makes it so hard to sit on the seat of leadership after such a man. Closing this immense gap will only be possible with the help of the Almighty and with your assistance, O people." The insight and intelligence of the great Iranian nation in the recent events, along with its steadfastness, courage, and presence, led friends to admiration and enemies to astonishment. It was you, the people, who led the country and guaranteed its power. In the recent offensive, some military bases were used, and naturally, just as we had issued a clear warning, and without carrying out any aggression against those countries themselves, we targeted only those bases. From now on, we will again, of necessity, continue this course of action, although we still believe in the need for friendship between ourselves and those neighboring states. These countries must clarify their stance regarding the aggressors against our beloved homeland and the murderers of our people. I recommend that they shut down those bases as soon as possible, for by now they surely have realized that the American claim of establishing security and peace is nothing but a lie. I repeat once more that the Islamic Republic, without seeking to establish domination or colonialism in the region, is fully ready for unity and warm, sincere, mutual relations with all its neighbors. In the seventh part, I extend my thanks to all the honorable figures who have supported me, including the grand authorities of emulation and the various cultural, political, and social personalities, as well as the people who, in majestic gatherings, have come forth to express their renewed pledge of allegiance to the system, and also the officials of the three branches of government and the Temporary Leadership Council for their sound measures and actions.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.